Hello, welcome to another episode of Stories of World War II Veterans. My name is Kayleen Reusser. In each episode, I read to you a story from the books that I've written about vets who I had the privilege of interviewing. Today's story is taken from Book 3 in my World War II Legacies series, We Gave Our Best. American World War II Veterans Tell Their Stories. Today's story is that of Lowell Hughes, who served in the Army in Europe. One of the most horrific sights Lowell Hughes of Roswell, New Mexico saw as a soldier occurred in late April 1945 when he and other soldiers stumbled on a work camp outside the German village of Dachau. "We saw dozens of railroad cars filled with human skeletal remains," he said. "They had died from ill treatment and starvation. It's the worst thing I have ever seen. The gate to the camp was open, but few guards were found. Most had left, knowing they'd be killed by Allied troops." Though nothing could prepare him for the suffering he saw in Europe during the war, Hughes had known hard times himself. Born in Poteau, Oklahoma in 1919, he grew up in a family of 6 during the Depression. "It didn't hurt us as bad as city people because we lived on a farm and had a garden," he said. He quit school in the 10th grade to work at a seniors military training center in Fort Sill. "We were offered $30 pay per month," he said. That was good for Hughes, and he worked there as well as at a generator shop before enlisting in the Army in early 1941. The military had a deal that men could serve 1 year and then be released, he said. Hughes was assigned to E Company, 157th Regiment of the 45th Infantry Division. Little could he know that division would set a record for more days of combat than any other in World War II. Hughes trained with mock battles at the Louisiana Maneuvers and in Texas, New York, Boston, and Camp Pickett in Virginia. Finally, in May of 1943, he shipped out with thousands of other soldiers from Norfolk, Virginia. "We zigzagged in a convoy for 28 days across the Atlantic to evade German subs," he said. "A destroyer guarding us sank 3 on our way over." Hughes's ship landed at Oran, Africa, before invading Sicily in July 1943. "We were under General George Patton's Fifth Army," he said. The troops also invaded Messina, where they captured many German soldiers. In September, they were victorious in a hard-fought battle at Salerno. "That was a rough landing that lasted for days," he said. "4 nights was the longest I've gone without sleep. The Germans also almost drove us back into the ocean." The Allies struggled on through Naples, Monte Cassino, and the beach of Anzio. "We were supposed to cut off the Germans, but it didn't work," said Hughes. Vastly outnumbered, the Allied troops managed to avoid being captured for 3 months. "We could not move without them seeing us," he said. "We slept underground and would not have survived without those dugouts." Eventually, the Allies pushed the Germans into southern France and Germany. After the liberation at Dachau, Hughes forced German guards of the camp to give their shoes to former prisoners. "It didn't go over well with the Germans, but the Dachau prisoners were tickled," he said. With thousands of German soldiers surrendering, the Allies were forced to build temporary prisons. Hughes and another soldier were put in charge of establishing searchlights to be placed on each corner of the prison's fence. An anti-aircraft company with mounted 50 caliber machine guns guarded the Germans. In the morning, when some of the POWs tried to escape, the Allies fired on them. "Our guys hauled out 7 truckloads of German bodies," said Hughes. "The rest never tried to escape again." The German military surrendered on May 7th of 1945. In Munich, Hughes's unit evicted the owners of nice-looking brick apartments. "We commandeered them for our headquarters," said Hughes. The owners, who were part of Germany's gentility of dukes and duchesses, were furious, but could do nothing. It was "C'est la guerre," said Hughes, "such is war." With 511 days of combat, Hughes had more than enough points to go home. His route by plane was circuitous, with stops in Casablanca, the Azores, and Venezuela. He finally landed at Presque Isle, Maine, where he was discharged in July of 1945. Hughes married and lived for a while in Massachusetts before returning to New Mexico to work in the wiring industry. "Freedom is the biggest word in the dictionary," he said. "I'm proud to have served and hope we never lose our freedom." Here's a picture of Lowell Hughes. Thanks for watching today and listening. I hope that this story of an amazing vet who sacrificed so much for our freedoms really moved you today to greater levels of patriotism. Again, we're reading from Book 3 in my World War II Legacies series, We Gave Our Best, American World War II Veterans Tell Their Stories. I hope that you will tell others about this station where patriotism is lauded, and we thank every vet for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you again next week with another exciting story of World War II veterans.